When we first arrived here, we lost everything. And it's when communists took over a country, everything is taken from you.
Her story begins around the time of the Vietnam War. While in Vietnam, Elizabeth An lived a life of privilege.
My great-grandfather was the vice king of Vietnam. And so for generations, we had a lifestyle where for myself, I had my own nanny, each of my sister. We had our own nannies, and it was very different. I never went into the kitchen.
When Elizabeth turned 8, communists invaded. They overthrew the aristocrats, turning her life upside down.
One evening, my mother basically said, "Get your things, Elizabeth. We need to leave right now. We're going to go to look for your grandmother."
Grandma An had been living in San Francisco. 4 years earlier, while on vacation in America, she had the foresight to buy a deli as property in the event of a coup.
The next thing I knew, we were pushed into a military cargo plane and shoved in the back of the plane like sardines in a can, and we were taken to a refugee camp.
Arriving in California, they soon settled in San Francisco. 7 family members shared a one-bedroom apartment located on top of the deli.
For 2 years, that was our lifestyle. And slowly, I grew up learning the family business, watching my grandmother and my mother, work the little deli that we had here, and slowly turned it to the first Vietnamese restaurant.
In time, the restaurant, Tan Long, quadrupled in size. By the time Elizabeth grew up, she had even bigger plans to do more.
I dabbled a little bit in fashion, and being in fashion, I had this fantasy of having, a fashionable restaurant. I always feel that food and fashion goes together, that I could bring my fashion crowd to, and I couldn't really bring them to Grandma and Mom's Deli out in the avenues. So I said to the family, why don't we open a more fashionable place in the middle of San Francisco?
But the family initially rejected the idea, fearing the possibility of losing anything more.
I was just very persistent and wouldn't take no for an answer. And at the end of the day, my mother was just very, very supportive, always. And she always believed in us.
The first crustacean opened in San Francisco, the second in Beverly Hills. Today, Beverly Hills is the flagship restaurant with great food, an underground aquarium, and of course, some very well-known VIPs.
I think it's just the dynamic of Beverly Hills. The city itself just bring in people, and we had a great location. We had just incredible support from the community. And from day one, we were well received.
The Beverly Hills restaurant cost $2.5 million to set up. Elizabeth says that was recouped in 2 years. The 5 sisters help run the business while Mom Helene takes care of the food.
Helene's cooking is what makes crustacean. Crustacean is not typically Vietnamese, it's Helene's cuisine. And Helene's cuisine is all about our heritage and our tradition.
Crustacean is a combination of French, Chinese, and Vietnamese cuisine. Recipes for items like its crab and garlic noodles are kept hidden in a secret kitchen.
It is a kitchen within a kitchen. It's completely concealed in stainless steel. As Coca-Cola have their secret recipes in a vault, we have my mother's recipe in the secret kitchen.
The 2 crustaceans became so popular, the An family decided to expand to Las Vegas. But that restaurant, at a cost of $12 million, would prove to be the bump in the road.
We thought going into a new location that we could call it not crustacean, but a different restaurant. And that was our long-term thought of, maybe selling it one of these days and just keeping one restaurant to the An family. So we thought, why don't we have a new restaurant, modify the concept, give it a different name so we can grow with that, and then sell it. But we underestimated our brand name.
With no secret kitchen either, customers didn't connect the restaurant with the An family. That forced the Ans to make some changes, and the restaurant in Las Vegas finally started to pick up on its own.
We changed the name, first of all, to Crustacean, so basically rebranding ourselves and establishing identity and as more of an institution. And when we called it Crustacean, immediately we got the response. What we had to do is Mother had to come up with a secret kitchen, modified version of a menu for Vegas, where we have the crab and the garlic noodles, but it's prepared a little bit different.
Though the restaurant is now doing well, Elizabeth says it still hasn't made a profit. And even though she's learned a big lesson about expanding, she says that won't stop her from growing some more.
I love to do something in Chicago. We love to have something in New York and London. So that's probably the direction that we'll go. Chicago first, New York, and then London.
With each new location opened will come more need for family. Elizabeth says when she runs out of family members here in America, no need to worry. Vietnam still has many more.